Well, hi there. I'm the Booktalk lady, and today we're going to discuss 4 different young adult teen dystopian novels. The first book I'd like to talk about is called Birthmarked by Kara O'Brien. 16-year-old Gaia lives in a shining city called the Enclave inside the western sector of Wharfton. Each month, like her mother, she fulfills a quota by giving the first 3 babies that she births over to the Enclave. These are the lucky ones. Babies who will receive enough food, water, and shelter in a world that's baking to death due to environmental Armageddon. Then, without warning, Gia's parents are taken away by guards to the prison inside the Enclave walls. Undeterred, their daughter determines to follow them and hopefully to aid in their escape. This is a difficult journey for 2 reasons. First, Gaia must find a way to cross through the walls surrounding the Enclave. Secondly, she must puzzle out a disguise that hides the hideous scarring covering half of her face, a deformity that marks her as from outside the wall. Careful preparation lands Gaia inside the Enclave walls. While she's looking for her parents, the young midwife discovers an unimaginably corrupt ugliness hiding under the perfect facade inside the Enclave. To her dismay, she finds that a deadly inherited disease drives the Enclave's decision to raise the monthly quota of babies received from people outside the wall. Her people. Is the Enclave looking for answers to survive from within Wharfton's population? What will happen if the government decides that these answers are found in a simple girl from the outside? To find out, read Birthmarked by Kara O'Brien. The second title I'm going to discuss is Matched by Ali Condi. Sometime in the future, the society decides love, work, and death. In this society, the officials decide everything. How you spend free time, even whom you're going to marry. 17-year-old Cassia Reyes has always trusted their choices. So when she's matched with her best friend, Xander, there's no reason to wonder whether the society knows best. Xander really is her perfect match. Then, during a supposed cruel joke, another boy's face quickly flashes on the matching screen. Cassie begins to question whether she belongs with Xander after all. This other boy, Kai, is secretive about his past. He's mysterious and romantic. When Cassia's grandfather teaches her a part of a forbidden poem that begins, "Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light," she realizes that poem has been banned because of its message to fight. Will Cassia live the life that's been assigned to her by the society, or will she fight to follow her own path? To find out whether Xander or Kai is Cassia's perfect match, you'll want to read this dystopian love triangle, Matched by Ali Condi. The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. 5 months after Real Aliens launch a first, then second, and finally a third wave offensive on humans, 16-year-old Cassie is all alone outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. She's made an improvised shelter in some woods off the interstate, but knows it's time to keep moving. During the first wave of the alien invasion, the mothership belonging to the others hovered in the Earth's atmosphere. Electromagnetic pulse killed 500,000 people when trains, planes, and automobiles crashed all over the world. The earthquakes and tsunamis of the second wave brought death to several billion more humans. Cassie's mother died during the Red Death, or the third wave, when a virus wiped out more Earthlings than either the first or second waves combined. 9 of 10 people infected with this plague died. Cassie's dad buried their mom in the backyard. Afterwards, he told her and her 5-year-old brother Sammy, "We're leaving in the morning." When pressed, he says they're headed to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base 100 miles away. Unfortunately, their family stops and detours at a refugee camp only 20 miles from home. Cassie considers their last day in the camp together. We'd been told they were taking all the children somewhere safe. Since I'm 16, the Army men wouldn't allow me to ride the yellow school bus with Sammy to the base. My dad and I managed to convince him we'd all be together in only a few hours. Exchanging temporary goodbyes, Sammy pushed his raggedy teddy bear into my arms, saying, "For when you're scared, but don't leave him." He held up a tiny finger to emphasize his point. Don't forget. Then Sammy climbed onto the school bus and the door swished shut. Minutes later, an attack at the refugee camp changed everything. Cassie cherishes the teddy bear that Sammy gave her. There is plenty to be scared about, especially when she thinks of Sammy's certain fright, knowing that she and her dad never made it to the base. They broke their promise, and she torments herself wondering what's happened to Sammy. Find out by reading The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. My last title is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I'm Tris. Years ago, my ancestors saw that evil is the weakness of humankind. By splitting up the world's population into 5 different groups called factions, we worked towards eliminating the personality flaws responsible for the ills of the world. In my culture, 16-year-olds decide the rest of their lives when they become initiates on choosing day. My faction history book teaches faction before blood. Our future factions are more than family because they are where we choose to belong. Most initiates remain in their original factions. I became a transfer when I chose Dauntless, the courageous faction. For my parents, this betrayal of our faction, abnegation, or the selfless faction, makes me a traitor. I don't expect anyone to come for me on visiting day. Our respective factions are responsible for completing our education. First, I must survive the initiation. Then, there are 3 stages to this process, and we're ranked at the end of each one. My ranking determines the order I'll be able to select my job after becoming a member. But that's the thing. There are 20 initiates, and only 10 of us are going to become members. That means 10 of us will fail initiation, becoming factionless. That's the worst possible fate. The factionless do the jobs nobody else wants to do. They don't have a compound to call home, and they live in the worst sectors of the city, in abandoned buildings with broken sidewalks and streets. Sewage and trash is everywhere. The factionless collect garbage and perform sanitation or construction work in exchange for food and clothing. I could be cut from the group after stage 1, or I could be cut after the final test. I chose them, the dauntless, the courageous, but now they've got to choose me. I must become dauntless. I must. Read Divergent by Veronica Roth to see whether Tris becomes dauntless. Thank you.